I want to buy a house. I've been working for a few months from now and I've been saving some money and I want to spend it in a really nice apartment. But I imagine that this happens in a lot of places, but here in Spain we have a lot of trouble with the building and apartment industry. The houses, the flats, the apartments are so expensive. And it's really difficult to buy a cheap house with good conditions and in a really good place. So let me explain you what have I done to find a really nice apartment. Well, I'm just keep looking for nice apartments and nice houses that are cheap and they have good conditions and they are placed in a good city. But let me explain you my adventure trying to find a house to live. I'm just trying to find a place to live. First of all, in Spain, in really big cities, you have a lot of trouble because the houses are really good and they are in a really good places, but they are so expensive. They are super expensive. So I decided that I want to look for houses in tiny cities, in tiny villages, because the houses in tiny villages, in tiny towns and tiny cities, tiny everything, they are less expensive, they are more affordable. First of all, I started to looking for a house in the city where I'm working, but in there the houses are really cheap, like 10,000 euros, but the walls are falling apart, the roof is also falling, and you need to reform a lot of things if you want to live in that 10,000 apartment. The house is really cheap, but you have to spend a lot of extra money to reform everything. And I don't want to do this in my first house. These cheap houses in the city where I work have another problem, that I think the place where they are placed, it's a really dangerous neighborhood. Maybe it's not, but when I'm walking around there in daytime, I don't feel safe. Imagine walking around there in nighttime, where there is a lot of light. I won't feel safe there, so I don't want to live in that city, in that neighborhood of the city. So I've decided to live in a nearby town or a nearby city where I feel safer and where I could find cheap houses or cheap apartments. And I have a few pros and a few cons. The pros is that the houses look better. You don't need to reform any wall. Maybe you need to buy some household or some furniture, but you don't need to reform any wall or any roof or anything. You just need to buy some furniture, that's all, and that's perfect. But the problem is that they are a little bit more expensive. Not so expensive, but a little bit expensive. And now at this moment I keep searching on internet to find some better places with better conditions, but it's really hard in the place where I want to live. I don't want to live in a big city, I want to live in a tiny city, as I said. And it's really difficult to find a really good apartment. But I think that I had found one. You will see in a few months if I buy this nice apartment that I found. But I'm just keep looking for a really good apartment. But it's really difficult because I don't want to rent that apartment. I want to buy that apartment. But why do I want to do this? Why do I want to do this? Sorry for my English, it's really awful, but I'm trying my best. I want to buy and not to rent because the rent is also super expensive. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to pay month by month a few euros to live in a house, I prefer to spend some euros month by month, but instead of living some time in that house and never being able to be the owner of that apartment or that house, I want to pay month by month, but at the end be able to be the owner of that house. I think that it's understood what I said. If you rent, you are not the owner of the apartment, and maybe you can do some decoration or add some things that you really want, but it's really difficult. You are limited, the things that you want to do, they are limited. And if you buy a house, maybe from the beginning it's a lot of money, but on the end road, in the end, if you buy a cheap apartment, maybe it's better than rent an apartment. And if I'm the owner, maybe in 2 years, 5 years, when I'll be tired to living in that place, I could rent it to another person or sell it to another person. So this is my adventure, trying to find a place to live. I want to move out of my parents' place and I want to start living on my own. It's really difficult, but I'm trying. But I want to know what is happening in your country. What problems do you have in your country to find a really nice place to live in? Because here in Spain we have a lot of trouble. In big cities, a few places that we have to buy, they are really expensive. And if you want to rent a place, it's also really expensive, and you'll need to live with another 5 persons that maybe you don't know. And it's really difficult living in a big place here in Spain, and cities like Madrid or Barcelona. I don't know why I pronounce Madrid and Barcelona like an English person. It's Madrid y Barcelona, not Madrid, Barcelona. I don't know. Well, sorry, excuse me. Maybe we could talk about the problems, the root of the problems that we have in the building industry, but maybe we can do that in another video. I hope you all like this one, and please leave a comment about the problems that you have in your country. And sorry for my English, it's really bad, but as I said, I'm trying my best. And thanks for the support of this channel. If you want to leave a comment, you are free to do it. And please check out the links that I will leave in the description of this video. I hope you have a nice day, have a nice 2025, and yeah, be happy. I love you. Goodbye.